From Luka Doncic becoming a Laker overnight, to Kevin Durant jumping ship to form yet another super squad in Phoenix, to MVPs packing their bags and switching coasts like it's nothing, the NBA has been crazy. We're talking franchises flipping their futures, super teams rising and crashing faster than crypto, and blockbuster trades that felt more like plot twists than front office moves. Today, we're diving into the craziest, most unexpected NBA trades you never saw coming. So sit tight and grab your snacks, because this video is going to leave you in absolute awe. And as always, hit those like and subscribe buttons so you know about our upcoming content. First up is number 5, a trade that made headlines for days. James Harden to the 76ers. Well folks, let's rewind to early 2022 because this was the peak NBA soap opera back then. Just 13 months earlier, the Brooklyn Nets had assembled a super team straight out of NBA 2K. It was 2018 MVP James Harden teaming up with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. The plan was to dominate the league, but the reality? Injuries, bad vibes, and COVID-19 vaccine drama. Thanks to Kyrie's part-time player status and KD's bad luck with injuries, the so-called Big Three only played 16 games together. That's right, 16. You could watch more Marvel movies in that time. Damn. Meanwhile, in Philly, things weren't much better. When Ben Simmons hadn't suited up all season after that now legendary playoff flop where he passed up a wide-open dunk. After that, his confidence vanished. His relationship with Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers tanked, and he basically ghosted the entire organization. He cited mental health concerns and sat out while still cashing checks. Philly was paying $30 million for a superstar in sweatpants. Damn, I work harder than he did, and I'm still broke. Anyway, back in Brooklyn, Harden, who had already pulled a Houdini act in Houston, was fed up again. He was chasing a ring, but all he got was Kyrie's unpredictability and KD's medical bills. And so tensions rose, chemistry dipped, and boom, it all blew up. Then came the trade. The Sixers sent Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-rounders to Brooklyn for James Harden and Paul Millsap. And as expected, the NBA world lost it. Harden had to now force his way out of 2 teams in 2 years, while Simmons hadn't even played since the bubble. So, did it work? Well, Philly looked decent with Harden and Embiid, but fizzled out in the second round as usual. Brooklyn? Even worse. Simmons barely played, and the super team crumbled. Kyrie and KD both pieced out soon after. Then came more Harden drama. He wanted a big payday from Philly, but GM Daryl Morey wasn't going for that. Harden felt betrayed, and the saga rolled on yet another chapter in the James Harden I'm Outta Here tour as he planned another transfer. And if you think this was crazy, wait for Kevin Durant at our number 4. KD to the Suns. As Harden forced his way out, Brooklyn's chemistry was in shambles. When Kyrie got traded to Dallas in early 2023, fans braced for a rebuild, but no one expected KD to bounce immediately after. Hence, this trade marked the final domino to fall in the collapse of the short-lived Brooklyn Nets super team that once featured James Harden, Irving, and Kevin Durant. See, on his first day on the job, the new Suns and Mercury owner pulled off arguably the biggest trade in Phoenix sports history. With Ishbia's blessing, Suns general manager James Jones worked for a trade for future Hall of Fame forward Kevin Durant and brought back former Suns swingman TJ Warren. The Brooklyn Nets received Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 unprotected first-round picks in 2023, 2025, 2027, and 2029, and the right to swap picks in 2028 in return. The Suns finally employed a fearsome 4 of Durant, Kevin Booker, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton. The first 3 all have cases to make the Hall of Fame. The Suns, 30-26, were 5th in the Western Conference, but could soon ascend to the top of the standings if all went according to plan. Suns had the mix, and on paper, it looked like a cheat code. KD, Booker, and Chris Paul formed a big 3 that had fans dreaming of a championship parade in the desert. Unfortunately, injuries limited their time together in the regular season as the trio of Durant, Booker, and Chris Paul played 167 minutes together before the playoffs, and while they showed flashes of brilliance in the playoffs, they fell short, losing to the Nuggets in the second round. As expected, the trio was short-lived, and it ended before we could even think more about it, as the Suns traded Chris Paul and Landry Shamet for Bradley Beal and his 4-year, $208 million deal. Although with a pretty strong and respectable record of 49-33 in the 2023-24 season, good enough to finish as the 6th seed in the West, the Suns were swept out of the first round of the NBA playoffs at the hand of the upstart Minnesota Timberwolves. And as for KD, he's still putting up elite numbers despite the team underperforming. And now for our number 3, the Rudy Gobert trade. When the Minnesota Timberwolves traded for Rudy Gobert in the summer of 2022, the NBA world collectively asked, what were they thinking? They already had Karl-Anthony Towns, a versatile offensive big man, so why double down on size in a league moving toward speed and spacing? But the Wolves were feeling bold. They had just made the playoffs for the first time in years and thought Gobert's elite rim protection would push them into true contention. The price? Absolutely bonkers. Minnesota sent 4 first-round picks, 2023, 25, 27, and 29, a 2026 pick swap, and 5 players, including breakout defensive stud Jared Vanderbilt, veteran Patrick Beverley, Malik Beasley, Leandro Bolmaro, and rookie Walker Kessler. And guess what? Kessler went on to finish 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting and posted Gobert-level blocks per game on a rookie contract. The backlash was immediate. Analysts called it highway robbery. On the contrary, Gobert averaged 13.4 points, 11.6 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks in 70 games in 2022 through 23. But in the next season, the consensus around the trade for him did a complete 180 flip. Many said the Jazz ripped off the Timberwolves, but after the Timberwolves' drastic improvement on defense, the trade looked even more intense. Adding Gobert to a young team with multiple versatile defenders created a defensive juggernaut. It wasn't clearly evident during Gobert's first season in Minnesota, but his second season proved Gobert's value on the defensive side of the ball. He completely flipped around a defense that had thrived against some of the toughest teams in the NBA. Soon, the Timberwolves howled to new heights. They locked down their defensive fortress to complement Anthony Edwards' explosive stardom, crafting a lineup that smothered opponents and feasted on easy buckets. Sure, they shipped out a treasure chest of assets, but the payoff? Their most spectacular season in 2 decades, becoming the Western Conference's 3rd seed and clawing their way to the conference finals for a championship hunt not seen in Minnesota since the Garnett era. And in the 2024 through 25 season, the Timberwolves are going strong as they're fighting for a playoff spot, while Rudy Gobert is leading the franchise in rebounds and blocks. Damn. The Rudy Gobert trade was intense, but our number 2, it will blow your minds. Jimmy Butler trade. Jimmy Butler and Miami? It was supposed to be a storybook ending. After leading the Heat to 2 NBA Finals appearances and putting the team on his back with playoff heroics, remember that monster 27.2 PPG on 48.3% shooting in the 2023 run? Many thought he'd retire on South Beach with a mojito in one hand and a legacy in the other. But behind the scenes, things got icy. Butler's fiery personality, which once fueled Miami's underdog runs, started to clash with the front office. He felt the Heat were moving on without him, and worse, he felt underappreciated. Of course, one cannot overlook the fact that the Warriors handed him a 2-year, $111 million contract extension. Meanwhile, Miami wasn't exactly rushing to match that deal. And just like that, the vibe shifted. This wasn't just a contract dispute, it was a full-blown breakup. Butler got suspended 3 times since January, including an indefinite timeout while the Heat scrambled for an exit plan. It all came to a head when the Heat pulled the trigger on a blockbuster multi-team deal, sending Jimmy to the Warriors in exchange for Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick. After 5 roller coaster years, the Heat era was over. Not with a bang, but with a cold, awkward farewell. But for Butler, in just 20 games with Golden State, he's helped the Warriors jump from the 9th seed to the 6th, winning 16 of those games. His numbers, 16.9 points, 5.7 assists, and 5.7 boards, are solid, but it's the composure that's gold. Coaches love it. Steph and Draymond are all in. The young guns, thriving under his calm intensity. It's like Butler brought a yoga mat to the chaos. So while the Miami split stung, Jimmy's already found his groove in Golden State. And if you squint a little, this just might be his final masterpiece. And finally, for our number 1, Luka Doncic to Lakers. Now, this trade felt like a late-night fever dream. Luka Doncic, the face of the Mavericks, getting traded? That's like the Warriors shipping off Steph or the Lakers waving goodbye to Kobe in his prime. Luka was Dallas. He was their superstar, their hope, their entire identity since he was drafted in 2018. He just led the Mavs to the finals, bought a $15 million mansion, and looked set to follow in Dirk Nowitzki's legendary footsteps. But in classic NBA chaos fashion, everything flipped in a heartbeat. The league was asleep until it wasn't. Bro had to pack up and move 1,500 miles west and leave behind the city he carried for almost 7 years. And let's be real, this wasn't just any guy switching teams. Luka averaged 33.9 points, 9.8 assists, and 9.2 rebounds last season. He dropped 73 on Atlanta in January 26, 2024, one of the highest scoring games in NBA history. He was third in MVP voting. And among the players with at least 400 games, Doncic's 28.6 point average is third in NBA history behind only Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain, while still being only 25. And bam, traded. Sheesh. Oh, and it was because of this move he was no longer eligible for the 5-year, $345 million Supermax extension. Anyhow, the trade talks, which took place over about a month, were kept extremely tight-lipped by Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison and Lakers GM Rob Pelinka. Mavs coach Jason Kidd's first reaction? Shock, Kidd said, though he later added that he believed it was the right move for his team going forward. Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris also headed to the Lakers, while Max Christie went to Dallas. The Lakers, though, they saw the post-LeBron cliff coming and said, let's build now. Instead of waiting for a crisis, they landed Luka, a generational talent who's already averaging 27.1 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 7.6 assists in his first 26 games in purple and gold. With Luka, they jumped from chaos to contender, stabilizing a team that's been searching for its next era. The situation was described like this by Luka himself. Everybody was surprised, so you can imagine how surprised I was, Doncic said. I was almost asleep, so when I got a call, I had to check if it was April 1st. I didn't really believe it at first, and it was a big shock. It was a hard moment for me. It was home. Which trade shocked you the most? And if you could pull off any trade in the NBA, what would it be? Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button and comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you know about our upcoming content. See ya next time.